Hello, hello. We are live. Let's see if I see myself in here. How is everybody doing today? So you might be able to see a little bit of remnants. I had a little bit of a fall on Good Friday. So I may look a little crazy, but I'm here. You know, I'm always a little bit off. But I wanted to share this to my group. All right, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I am one-handed and it is what it is. So normally I do more slides than we did today, but we're still going to get going. We're still going to do this. I feel like every week I'm like, oh, last week, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I was sick. So by next week, I should be good to go. Let's see. Wait, I want to share my screen. I'm also a little bit loopy again. So bear with me. Today we have a good one. So visibility of Vortex. So I just want to say a couple of things, and I have a quote later on that sort of says this, and if you read the description, it's in there too. But when people think about being visible, they think about, you know, being seen everywhere, which, you know, yes, we want to be seen everywhere. We talk about omnipresence, omnichannel. All of that is very important. But what's more important is, what is it that people get when they see you? What is it people take away when they see you? What is it that they say about you when you're not there? And what is it that you want to be seen for and are being seen for? You know, you want to control the narrative at every step of the way. That's basically what marketing is. So you want to be able to tell people who you are, what you're all about, how you can help them, and why you're the best person to be able to help them. You want to be able to tell them that very clearly. And the entire way along the journey, you want to be able to do that. Right to we were talking about with my clients on a sales call. When you get on a sales call, you want to be able to visually show them, you know, maybe you're like I always have like a graphic representation of my program, or you might have a step-by-step that you can show them. We were talking about whiteboarding it. So a lot of different ways you can do it. Do it in a couple of different ways. That obviously makes it a little bit better. We all learn differently. So it's not just one thing, and it's every step of the way. You want to be visible, but visible doesn't just mean being seen. It means being heard, and being heard in a way that benefits you and them, lets them know who you are, what you're all about, and how you can help them. Because just being out there doesn't mean anything. If, again, I've talked about this a million times, but if you get a cat video to go viral, how is that helping your business? It's just really not. It may even actually have the opposite effect on your business, because now you have all these cat people in who don't like what you're talking about. So it's doing the opposite of what you want it to do. So you want to be really careful whenever you are being visible and being seen, whenever you are putting things out there. What is it that you're saying, and what is it that you want them to take away from what you're saying? And that's really the important piece of the pie. All right, so the visibility vortex, mastering the art of being seen. We're gonna go quickly through this because I can only type with one hand and I'm really bad at it. So I only did the main slides this time. You'll still get the main point. All right, I'll talk about it. You know, I can talk. Are you even in the room? So the reason I like this question is because I think people don't even think about this. What do I mean by this? I always say that we need to go from that sea of sameness to becoming a thought leader. The reason I say that, maybe you don't even get it yet, but the reason I say that and the reason I repeat it is because most of my clients are experts. They want to be visible. So they get that part. I want to be visible because I want clients. They totally get that part of it. I want to take it a step further. I want you to go up here and become a thought leader. And the reason I want you to become a thought leader is because I want you in the room. And what does that mean? That means people are talking about you. People are saying, hey, if you're a coach and you need personal branding, Erica is your girl, right? They are saying, if you need more clients, if you don't have a consistent business, it's probably because you don't have your foundations done. You aren't very clear on what you're doing. You have, maybe gone tactical instead of strategy. Erica is the one that can make sure that you have assets in your business, that you're building a consistent business that's going to last you a lifetime. Erica is the one that can do that for you. You want people to be able to say that about you. And to have people say that about you, you need to be in the room. You need to, number one, be able to say it about yourself. What is it that you want people to say about you? Be very clear in how you say it and what you're saying, and say it over and over and over and over and over again. Like a TV commercial. Do you think they aired a TV commercial one time? No, they aired it 1,876 times because it had to stick in your head. And every time you put something out on social media, how many people do you really think see it? So they, some people will say only do quality. I think you need to do a mix, quantity and quality. Number one, you never know what's going to pop. You just don't. So your idea of an amazingly awesome quality post may not be what pops. So you may spend 4 hours on this post, and then one day you're out doing something and an idea comes to you and you go blah, 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 and that goes viral. I'm just saying, you need to do both. I think that, anyway. So are you even in the room? I will go off. Sorry. I normally do that anyway, but today I'm loopier than normal because of the medicine. So what that means is you need people. So we talk about personal branding, but the reality is if you think about it in terms of normal people speak, it's reputation. What do people say about that place when they're not there? So if you're talking about a restaurant, right? If you're talking about your favorite restaurant, are you talking about your favorite dish? Are you talking about the ambiance? Are you talking about the service? Is it really like literally a trifecta and you've got it all? And is that what you're saying about it? Because if they want you to be talking about the ambiance and every time you go in there, it's like, you're not going to be talking about the ambiance, right? So it has to match, but you have to help them see you have to help them connect those dots. And that's what you're doing. All right. So a value proposition. I went back and I misspelled like a ton. Hopefully I fixed it all, but value proposition. So again, standing out in the crowd, sea of sameness and becoming that, this pinky doesn't go down. Sea of sameness and becoming that thought leader. That is you with your value proposition. What makes you different? What makes you different? If you can tell me in one word, what is your value proposition? Ask ChatGPT. So when I ask ChatGPT mine, I'll just give you a couple of examples. If I say one word, it'll say something like empowerment or transformation. So it's strategic. When I say it, it's strategic growth. I call myself a business consultant and marketing strategist. So I focus on strategic growth, but it's by moving you from expert into thought leader through your personal brand and the things that we do along the way. And again, somebody said, what is the difference between a tactic and a strategy? Well, I work on the tactic. I work on the tactics. I work on the strategy, almost a holistic view. And the reason that I do that is because I have seen time after time after time, people get onto the scene and they hire a coach and they do something that may or may not work, but isn't going to work because they don't have all the rest of the before and after that thing. And that drives me crazy. That drives me crazy. And so they either automatically think all coaches are terrible, they think that thing doesn't work, or, the whole thing doesn't work, whatever it is. And none of that may be true. None of that may be true because that tactic could work if you had all of this in place first, right? That coach may be amazing if you have all of this in place and then you're going for that tactic. So you just never know. And so when I wanted to do it, because I have the marketing and the business backgrounds, I wanted to do a little bit more of a holistic approach and just go for strategy so that my clients do go the whole way through, like I was talking about before. If you want to be able to tell somebody what you do, it's not just in a video. It's not just on a sales call. It's not just in words. It's also visually. It's the whole way through in every single way you do it. Your messaging matters, your words matter, your visuals matter, all of it matters. And so to me, back to value proposition, I would say, in my own words, not ChatGPT words, I would say holistic business growth. And that's because I do take you the entire way. And if you come in and you've already got like all this there, amazing. Let's add this, this, and this. Let's boost you to that next level. And that's why it's holistic business growth, because it doesn't really matter what stage you're in. You can still move you forward. Do I focus on a specific stage? Yes. I mean, my favorite is somebody who's already started and gotten going and, has a little bit of the basics. They're just not really consistently getting their leads and their sales in. And the reason is because most of the time it comes back to that clarity and that messaging, that value proposition. So what is yours? No wrong answers. No wrong answers. And if you want me to help you figure out yours, just leave that in the comments too. So what is yours? All right, omnipresence. I mentioned this before and I put in the bottom to remind myself not to forget omni-channel. So omni-channel means you need to be in different places at one time. If you are, so what does that mean? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, these are the top ones, right? Pick two, that's okay. Do all four and repurpose. Pick one, focus on it, and then repurpose the rest. All of that is okay, but the more you can be on, the better off you are. Think about how many channels you're on. Are you on just one channel? No. You bounce around, you're on different channels. Different messages hit you in different ways. Different channels will make things more visible to you at different times. There's a lot of reasons to be on different channels in different ways and to be putting your message out there again in different ways. Do video talking heads, do carousel posts, do, just the graphic and the text. I'm a disaster, sorry. Do the videos where you can't see your face. What is it called? Faceless videos. Do all of it, do all of it. Why? Because number one, different people are going to see it in different days. But if I see it 2 or 3 times, it might hit me the 3rd time. It might hit me the 8th time. Keep giving it to me. I'm actually doing a course on positive intelligence with one of my clients, Stephanie, which is amazing. This program is, Stephanie's amazing as well, but the program is also really cool. But I'll be honest with you, we've been going through it now probably a week and a half, maybe. I just finally understood what it was because he said it in so many different ways. It was kind of going in one ear and out the other. And I'm telling Stephanie yesterday, oh, I got it. And she looked at me like, what? But the reality is I didn't really understand what we were doing. I was just kind of going through the motions and doing it. But now I see the power in it and I really get it. So you want to be able to tell people over and over and over, they just may not get it. And don't say it the exact same way. I'm saying repeat yourself. Absolutely. Repeat yourself in the same way a million times, but also in different ways so that they also get it. All right. So be everywhere. And I started to say this earlier and I got off track, but if you are local, can you do any local either events or networking or, speeches? Like, can you go into your chamber and do some speeches? Can you go to that networking event or whatever else it is, like in person? If you can do that too, times 10. Direct marketing, that go through the whole thing with the email marketing is dead. Email marketing is amazing. Do your email marketing. Direct marketing, if you have some extra cash lying around, try out direct marketing. Also really good, especially if you're doing local. All right. Ads, everything. Be everywhere. Relatable content. So this first one is you. The reason I said you is because when we do relatable content, we want to be able to call people out, see that extrovert, introvert. We want to relate to them, see that bottom one, but we want to do it in different ways. So number one, I say coaches and entrepreneurs all of the time because that's who I work with. So if you hear me say coaches and you're a coach, you're like, ding, 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 right? If I say, if I send out an email and I say, hey, Lori, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. You're like, she's talking to me. I am Lori. Wow, that's cool, right? So personalization as much as possible. Email, it's a little bit easier than when you're doing your videos. But say people's names, say people, like, call them out by who they are, meaning coach, entrepreneur, introvert, something like that. You could use something like, moms of babies under 10, kids under 10, early childhood, whatever it is. You want to be able to call people out by who they are because they're going to perk up and listen when they hear that. That's going to get their attention. What other ways can you do related? Okay, so you can also, I've talked about this before too, but I have a small language school. And one of the ways that when we talk about how to teach anything, but teach languages, this is way before this was popular here in our world now, but teaching anything through stories makes it more relatable. So in a classroom, when I'm showing the teachers how to teach English to students, I'm telling them, use examples, not the ones in the book. Those are boring, right? Use your own examples and make them up. Make them up. Have the students make them up. But if it's adult students and you know that so-and-so works at a bank, use a bank example. How much does that relate to them? If it's, kids in high school, use a gossiping example or a fight between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, or, feeling like you want your own space in front of your parents. Use those things as examples that are really relevant to them. In our space, the same thing. I want to use examples that are relevant to coaches. And that's why I love working with coaches. It's so much easier for me to come up with examples because I am one, right? So when I can come up with the examples and I'm talking about getting distracted all of the time, I feel you, I hear you, you get me because I get you. And that helps us relate. When I get totally off track in the middle of a thing, some of you are like, oh my God, that's so annoying. Others of you are like, yeah, that happens to me too. So I don't do that on purpose, but that does, make me a little bit more relatable because it happens. When I make mistakes, which is probably daily, that helps people be able to relate to me because nobody's perfect. Nobody gets up on here with their face looking probably better than mine, but perfect all of the time, 24/7. So showing up and being you is, being relatable. I don't want to say don't talk about your cats, but I talk about Mahi all of the time, right? I talk about Mahi all of the time, but 99.999% of the time, when I bring up Mahi, my dog, I am relating it to something that we do. For example, I'm talking about podcasts. When I was walking Mahi this morning, I was listening to the best podcast. I mean, literally half of my sentences start with, I was listening to this podcast. And so that's Mahi relatable because that's when I listen to most of my podcasts. Fell on my face. You know, how is that relatable? Because we all fall on our faces, you know, whether it's metaphorically or not. We all crash and burn sometimes, and that helps people relate to you. You know, showing up as you. You know, if you look on my LinkedIn, I've got some really nasty pictures on there because I posted it. I'm like, we are who we are. We can't help what goes on in our everyday lives. Business does not stop because you can't type. So this one definitely can't type, but this one only, like, these first couple fingers actually work. So anyway, doesn't stop. So what do? I type less. I type with a lot more errors, and I'm doing a little bit more voice, a little bit more live, right? All right. So relatable content, make it relatable to your audience. How can they kind of feel, number one, who you are and what you're all about in what you're doing, but how do they relate to you? You know, what challenges are they having? What's keeping them up at night? I know most of my clients are stressed out about being consistent in their content. Yes, right? That's something I work on always. About time management, something I always work on and work on with my clients. About clarity, that's something that everybody works on. And it doesn't matter like how far along you are, believe it or not. I went into businesses that were open 10 years and could ask them some clarifying questions and they can't answer them. Because sometimes you start a business, you kind of write it all down like your mission statement and you just keep moving forward. You have no idea what that is. You know, you don't go back to it. So if somebody point blank says, what's your UVP? And you can't spit it out, it's because you're not that clear on what it is. You don't necessarily know what it is. And do you say the exact same every single time? Maybe, maybe not. But is it pretty clear most of the time? That's what you want. That's what you're after. All right. So going back there, like sometimes if somebody says my UVP, I would say a million things. Okay, but let's not go there. All right, moving. Maybe. All right, tactical engagement. So one of the easiest ways I can explain this that most of you understand is on here. I said when we were back at the UVP, I said, hey, drop it down below. I'd love to hear what your UVP is. And if you can do it in 3 words, if you can do it in 3 words, do it in 3 words. I want to hear your UVP. That's tactical engagement, right? I thought of that ahead of time and I wanted you to be able to engage with it. So I said it when I was supposed to say it. That's one thing. Another great way, if you're not doing a live, is to be able to do something like a poll. A poll. You can do polls in Facebook and LinkedIn. You can do quizzes. Oh my God, we love quizzes, right? Ryan Levesque. Who doesn't love a great quiz? Speaking of that, what about those Facebook questions when we put them up and it's just a question and we're getting people to answer? So you could do a yes, no question, this or that question, open-ended question, just get people to, those are the hardest because people will tend to either not write or, you know, not know what to say, so they don't. Saying, hey, if you want this, drop, you know, me down below or drop engage down below or something like that. That's a great way to do it. Those are those Facebook things. So bottom line is you're trying to get people to raise their hand and say me or answer you. That's tactical engagement. And you want to be doing that almost all of the time. Almost all of the time. You can 80-20 it if you want to. 80% of the time. You want to be getting people to engage with you because we lose sight of this. We lose sight of this. But what's important? Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to do? You're just trying to start conversations. So get them to raise their hand, and then they've started almost like, you kind of started, but they started the conversation. How much easier is that than cold outreach? Whew, so much easier, right? So tactical engagement, we love. I'll do the half heart. We love tactical engagement. All right, evaluation and adaptation. So not everything works all of the time. What can you change? What can you keep? What can you be like, oh my God, this is so working, I need to double down on it? Or, this I feel like could have worked, but maybe I need to make some tweaks to it. Maybe I need to do some other things over here. How can you get that evaluation? Ask. You can ask people what they think, ask colleagues, people who will give you real advice and real opinions. In my group is more like a mastermind. So we can ask each other and get real feedback that isn't going to hurt anybody's feelings. It's going to help people get through to where they want to go. So having that real and real time is a good one. Having those real opinions and real perspectives on your stuff really, really helps. And then adapt, if you need to pivot. If you need to change it a little bit, change it a little bit. Don't get married to anything that you're doing in business. Don't get married to any of it, because that's when you're going to crash and burn. When you are like, this works and this is the best, and you're completely ignoring everybody else's advice. How many of you have hired a coach or a consultant and don't listen to what they're saying? It's funny how many people do that, but lots do that. They hire an expert gives them an opinion, and then they don't follow it. Either get a different expert, if you don't like their opinions, then, you don't want to be following that person. Or, and I've done that before, like I have gotten advice and opinions from experts that I did not trust and want to follow, and looked for different experts. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Absolutely. And who's an expert? I mean, a lot of people are out there saying they're experts that may not have been around for, almost 20 years, like me or somebody else. So you want to think, what is it that they've been doing? Where have they been? That might be, and don't get me wrong, you hand your cell phone to a little kid and they will blow you away at what they're doing. So don't discount that either. They may be experts and may have been around for a little bit of time. They may have just mastered the craft. So it doesn't necessarily matter. But evaluation, adaptation, you want to always be thinking, how can you make it better? What can you let go of? What can you add? What can you change? All of that. Always, always, always. All right, think about your offer. What is your offer? Have you evaluated it? What criteria do you use to evaluate it? Do you need more data? Like, do you even know if it's working yet? And if you're basing it on, the 10 people that have said no to you, maybe that's not enough data. Don't beat yourself up over that. There are very few people that can look at this objectionably, that's not the word, objectively, and say, it could be terrible, but I really just don't know yet, because I need to have, 1,000 people go through it, or 100 people go through it, or whatever it is. So, anyway, what is your offer? Drop it below. 2 sentences max, 1 sentence at best. So what's your offer? And do you know if it works? Does it work? Do you need help with it? Are you not sure what your offer is? Where are you? Drop that below. I want to hear just kind of where everybody is. Like, you can say, I have an offer. If you have an offer, write it down. If you don't have an offer, just say, don't have one yet. Not that clear on mine, whatever. Drop it below. All right. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we were doing our acronym. So if everybody got it, we're on X. We're on the last letter. Expand, reach. I cheated a little on this one, but I capitalized it so you could get it. Expand, reach. So once you get through all of the rest of that, what do you want to do? You want to expand your reach. You want to make sure that you've got that clarity. So here's what people will do. I don't want to say waste their time, but people will start putting out a bunch of content that gets them nowhere. People will start getting out a bunch of podcasts that get them nowhere. People will start doing a lot. You know, we've all been there. I'm not saying I haven't been there, but we've all done a lot of that running around like a doggy chasing his tail, right? That's really getting us nowhere. Why? Because we want to feel like we're moving forward. We want to feel productive. We just don't realize we're not going forward. You know, we're just spinning. So once you get all of the foundations and you're rocking and rolling, you're so clear, you're ready to go. Then what do you want to do? Well, add fuel to that fire. Then you want to expand your reach. Then you want to start looking for collaborations. Then you want to start getting on podcasts. Then you want to start finding ways to leverage what you do. Get on summits, get on stages. Those were the ones I could think of at the moment. But just expand your reach to as many people as possible. All right. How many of you are at that stage? Let me know. If you're already at this stage of the game, I want to hear from you. I am looking to expand my reach. So I'm looking for collaborations, and I'd love to be able to get into other people's groups, do some training. So if any of you are there, let me know. Super interested in that. All right. If you are not there yet, don't stress out. You just need to get clarity on the rest of it. All right, so here was our Vortex. Value proposition, omnipresence, relatable content, tactical engagement, evaluation and adaptation, and then expanding your reach. You want every single piece of this to make sure that you are elevating and engaging your audience in a way that works, in a way that is going to get you the visibility that you want, is going to get you the chatter that you want, people saying what you want about you, and it's going to get you in the room. All right. I think that was from a different slide, but I could have made it work, but I'm not going to. All right, visibility. Here's my quote. Being visible isn't about the applause. It's about amplifying impact and shaping the conversation. Some people might say I'm a little bit of a control freak. I wouldn't deny it, but I think marketing is about controlling the conversation. Shaping is a much nicer word, and we're going to go with that one, but it's about shaping the conversation. It's about you being in control of that, you being in control of what that shape looks like, right? And it's not about the applause. People are like, I don't really care about being visible. Well, I'm not trying to make superstars. I'm not trying to make, actors and actresses. That's not what this is about. This isn't about you being, wow, she's so famous. That's not about what this is about. But if you want to impact more lives, you need to be more visible, right? If you're like, oh, I just want to help more people. Well, you can help more people the more visible that you are. The more your message gets out there, the more people you're helping, the more impact you're making, right? So it's all about that. And if you are already putting yourself out there, how clear is that messaging? How much do they actually understand who you are, what you're all about, how you can help them? And are you the right person for them? How much do they understand that? And how much shaping do you need to do in your business? All right, that's pretty much it. Next week on Elevate and Engage, 5 secrets to crafting messages that inspire action and drive impact. That's what we're all about. So next week on Elevate and Engage, if you are not signed up for it, make sure that you go to elevateandengage.com. That's where you can get actually in the backstage with me here on Zoom. You can get up here on the backstage, and we hang out sometimes in the back room afterwards. So if you want in the backstage, let me know. 5 secrets to crafting messages that inspire action and drive impact. And drum roll, please. I'm not supposed to announce this yet because it's not already, but since I'm here, we do have our next one scheduled. Elevate Your Online Presence, Content Fusion, KLT 5-Day Challenge, April 24th. So we're going to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. and then Monday, Tuesday. I just want to try that out. Let me know what you think about those dates. I just think that's kind of fun. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let me know if you want the link for that. You can put under here, let's see, KLT. KLT. All right, ciao, ciao.